The chair should have been empty. That's what terrified me. Not the fact that Ryan was there, not the fact that Noah had invited him, not even the fact that both men were sitting at the same table. It was the empty chair between us. Because the moment I saw it, I knew my husband had planned something. And deep down, I think Ryan knew it too. The dinner was supposed to celebrate Noah's promotion. A private room. Close friends, family, a nice restaurant downtown. Nothing unusual. Nothing threatening. At least that's what I believed. My affair with Ryan had been going on for 13 months. Long enough that I stopped feeling afraid. Long enough that deception felt routine. That's the phase people don't talk about. The dangerous phase. Not when you're worried about getting caught. When you're convinced you won't. Ryan and I worked together on regional development projects. The affair started during travel. Hotels, conferences, late-night dinners. The usual story. One bad decision turned into a second. Then a third. Then eventually an entirely separate life. And somehow, through all of it, Noah never seemed suspicious. No accusations, no phone checks, no confrontations. If anything, he seemed calmer, more patient, less emotional. At the time, I interpreted that as trust. Now I understand it was acceptance. The acceptance that comes after someone already knows the truth. The dinner took place on a Thursday evening. 20 guests, family, coworkers, friends. Ryan arrived a few minutes after we did. Noah greeted him warmly, shook his hand, offered him a drink, made introductions. Everything seemed normal. Too normal. That feeling settled into my stomach immediately. Then we entered the private dining room, and I saw the seating arrangement. My chair, Ryan's chair, Noah's chair. In that order. Ryan directly between us. My pulse immediately doubled. There had to be a mistake. Surely there was. No. But when I looked around, every place card had been printed professionally. No mistakes, no accidents. Noah noticed me staring, then smiled. Something wrong? I forced a laugh. No. Lie. Everything was wrong. Dinner began. Conversation flowed. Wine was poured. People laughed. But all I could think about was the man sitting between my husband and me. The symbolism felt impossible to ignore. At one point, Ryan even shifted uncomfortably in his seat. Good, because I was uncomfortable too. Noah seemed perfectly relaxed. That scared me more than anything. The calmer he became, the more dangerous the evening felt. Halfway through dinner, one of Noah's coworkers made a joke. Funny seating arrangement. Several people laughed. Noah smiled. I thought it made sense. My stomach dropped. Ryan stared at his plate. Nobody else understood. Yet. Then Noah added, after all, he spends enough time between us already. Silence. Tiny at first, but noticeable. The room shifted. People looked up, trying to understand, trying to decide whether that had been a joke. Noah took a sip of wine. Ryan stopped moving entirely. I felt heat crawling up my neck. Noah continued talking with everyone as if nothing unusual had happened, which somehow made it worse. Because now everyone was paying attention. Waiting. Watching. The reveal came during dessert. The restaurant brought out a cake. People applauded. Someone suggested a toast. Noah stood, raised his glass, and smiled. I want to thank everyone for coming. Normal, expected. Then his eyes landed on Ryan, and everything changed. I especially want to thank Ryan. The room quieted. Ryan looked trapped. Good. Because trapped was exactly what he was. Noah continued. Not everyone gets the opportunity to sit between a husband and wife. Silence. Real silence this time. Nobody laughed. Nobody moved. Everyone understood something was happening. They just didn't know what. Then Noah delivered the sentence that ended everything. But then again, pause. My wife has been putting him between us for over a year. The room froze. Completely. Several people looked at me immediately. Others looked at Ryan. Then back again. The puzzle solved itself almost instantly. Ryan looked like he wanted to disappear. I wanted the floor to open beneath me. Noah remained calm. Terrifyingly calm. The calmness of someone who wasn't exposing a secret. The calmness of someone confirming one. "When did you find out?" I whispered. The words escaped before I could stop them. Noah thought for a moment, then answered. 9 months ago. The world tilted. 9 months. 9 months. 9 months of birthdays, vacations, family events, anniversaries. 9 months of him knowing. Every memory suddenly looked different. The patience, the distance, the quietness. He wasn't trusting me. He was preparing. Ryan stood first. Of course he did. They always do. I should leave. Noah laughed softly. That's probably best. No argument, no denial, no defense. Ryan grabbed his jacket, walked out, never looked back. The fantasy ended in less than 60 seconds. The dinner collapsed shortly afterward. Guests left early. Conversations died. Nobody knew what to say. Eventually, only Noah and I remained. Then he reached into his briefcase, pulled out an envelope. Divorce papers, already signed, already prepared, already waiting. And once again, I realized something awful. This wasn't revenge. Revenge is emotional. This felt finished, like a project reaching completion. Months later, after the divorce was finalized, I asked him why he chose that seating arrangement. Why put Ryan between us? Why make him sit there? Noah thought for a long moment, then answered quietly, because that's where he'd been sitting for over a year. I couldn't respond. Because he was right. Not physically, emotionally, mentally, in every way that mattered. I still think about that chair sometimes. The place card, the silence, the toast. But the worst part wasn't being exposed. It wasn't the divorce. It wasn't even watching Ryan leave. It was realizing my husband had already spent 9 months mourning the marriage while I was still pretending it could survive. And by the time he asked my affair partner to sit between us, he was simply making visible what had been true all along.